Hello everyone. Welcome back to the stream. Today, we're back on the Mon Ultimate. It's been a week. I'm back for our OLMS series. Welcome. It is round 4, and we're here at Monza Curve Grande. So we are. I think this is going to be a shorter thing for qualifying. But yes, welcome along. We're here at Monza Curve Grande, which, if you're unfamiliar with it, this light skips the first chicane. Takes you flat out to Curve Grande itself, flat out through Curve Grande, unless you're in a GT3 car and have a sketchy P2 pass you at an awkward time. And then have an even heavier braking zone into what is normally the second chicane. There's the first chicane. We wave past it. Then head off to the first chicane. Now, I did a couple of setup tweaks between practice and qualifying here. Should say I'm running on the LMU setup. I practiced when I was getting the thumbnail. I did that session with the CDA setup, but I decided I wasn't that I disliked it this time round, but I sort of felt like, hey, you know, the round I did well, which was Port of I had the CDA, the LMU setup. The rounds I've made mistakes at and had issues are the rounds where I had the LMU setup. Or no, I didn't. I had the CDA setup. I didn't have the CDA setup at the Mon. I didn't like it in the rain. But yeah, I've decided, you know what, the LMU setup, you know, that's the one we used when we won Port of I think I'm just going to run that for the rest of this season. But yeah, I lowered the rear wing. It was on 2 for the LMU setup. I've lowered that to 1. Just to get a little bit more straight line speed. It'll be so important in the race. And I increased the brake force, the max brake force, from 70% to 75. Just because you have such hard braking zones here. And spending too much time at 100% pedal force. It's like, yeah, I'm definitely trading away a bit of braking potential by having that brake force at standard. So just gotta be a little bit more careful with locking up. But should definitely give us better braking performance at the high speed. Especially when we just hit the brakes initially. Getting the tires up to temperature. First lap on the board, it's not the fastest. But yeah, times will drop by over a second from here. So it's not very... First lap, not very representative, but good banker lap to get in. Oh. There's no point continuing on with those tires. They will be a bit short. I'm going to put a bit more fuel in just so I can do one more lap in this stint. I didn't change tires because they don't auto-change. We're not limited on tires here. Well, we are, but it's 20 tires. We hopefully won't be changing tires in the race. Yeah, we've got away with that. Braking with the old brake force, but having increased it, yeah, just gotta be a little bit careful. Time of day, 8 AM in-game. It's actually making it a bit difficult to see in some of the corners with the long shadows. Still locking up, this time the outside tire. Didn't lock it too badly. That right front really just wants to snatch. So on for another flying lap. Again, this one might be able to find a little bit of time on the previous lap, but still, hopefully won't be a representative lap since tires are cold. I just clipped the gravel there. Current pole time 1:28.6. Can say it's going to improve by over a second, nearly 2 seconds of an improvement. Car turns in so much better on the warm tires. Could have maybe carried a little bit more speed through the Parabolica. Hit the anti-cut on the first curb. Over 7/10 up. After that's mode 2. You can see the time just coming to us with the tires getting up to temperature. .2 seconds, fine, we'll still be 6.5 off the pole time. Enough for P7. Let's see if we can find a bit more time. I wasn't as tight on the second apex as I should have been. Very close on our delta. Better through a scary, nearly 2/10 up. That puts us up to P6. Two more laps worth of fuel. Better exit from the chicane. Car got a little unsettled on the entry to Lesmo 1. But we managed to carry good speed through it. Losing a little bit of time through Lesmo 2. Find a little bit of time on a scary, but didn't carry any momentum extra momentum out of the corner. So we're even on the run to Parabolica. Carry a little bit more speed into the corner, so we find a bit of time. More than 2/10 up. That takes us up to P4. Oh, that's a good chicane. And from there, I just knew I needed to focus down. Obviously, people are still on laps, but oh, that's a good effort. Oh, my heart is racing. Yeah, I just got the braking for the chicane right, and then from there, I just be able to hook the lap up. Thank you, Eddie. I really thought when I was a few tenths off the top there, I was like, I don't think I'm going to find those few tenths, but There we go, got the chicane right, got a good exit, and it's like, right, 10th up. Then it's like, right, just focus, you know, at least match the Lesmos, but I find a little bit more time in them. Yeah, I just find those little fractions, you know, a tenth or half a tenth in each little corner. Oh dear. Apex in there somewhere. Oh, that curb's not going to help you. Oh, no, that's not a good chicane. Okay. That's pole position then. I did not think I had that in me. Now that has me a little bit nervous for the race. Now, usually I do better in races than in qualifying. And my starts haven't been that great this series. Long slipstream run to the first braking zone. Oh dear God. Oh dear God. If there's one race to be on pole position, this probably isn't the one. But yeah, it's... To put in a pole lap for the series, I'm very happy. I didn't think I did all series. And it's not something that's like, oh, like with the Portimao win, it's not like, oh, other people like got unlucky with incidents or whatnot. It's like, when it comes to putting a lap in quali, it is you and only you. So to say, oh yeah, you know, I put a quali lap in, a pole lap in, 10th and a half is a little bit of a margin. Yeah, that one wing is going to be even more important now. This is going to be a stressful start. Yep, you too, Eddie. I just hope this race goes well. Not too worried about winning. Just want it to be a clean race.
Formation lap has started. flag, green flag.
I completely forgot that you don't get a warning about when it's about to go green in pole position. It's been that long. How many people made that chicane? Oh, come on! Thankfully the tires didn't get destroyed in that. someone swiped out the braking boards at Lesmo 2. Really appreciate that. And I don't know if the arrow is affecting my top speed. If it is, then great. Try and get too greedy through Lesmo 1. This ain't qualifying anymore. Come on. Oh yeah, let me just break in this flat out section because you spun again. As if I haven't lost enough time already. It's just a little lockup. Go away with it. Pace is quite consistent. 129.9. Not an ideal place to have got the traffic in at Sky there, but used it to good effect to get one place, though we lost time to a couple of the cars that got past before they went through Ascari. Come on. No. Not had the best of traffic luck, that's for sure. Not again. Yeah, you're gonna need to brake because there's literally nowhere for you to go. Two laps in a row to have to slow down so much through Curve Grande is unlucky. Still have 2 more GT3 cars to go. Rear end feels a little bit loose through the first part of Ascari. Just feels like whenever I pick up the throttle, the rear's just slipping a little bit. It has me a little bit nervous. That just one lap it's gonna have said, nope, that's enough. Alright, just one more to go and we should be fine. We might catch them in Curve Grande, but catching a car by itself in Curve Grande isn't too bad. But whenever they're side by side, it's a bit of an issue. Like, I can definitely feel why the default LMU setup has 2 wing through Ascari. The rear isn't the most planted. And certainly a more inexperienced driver would struggle with it more through Ascari. We've definitely got to the point where the cars in front of us now are a little bit quicker. It's not going to be as easy to catch up and or pass GT3 deads through Curve Grande. I maybe could have gone for that move into Les Mode 2, though. It felt too risky. Wish that GT3 would retire already. Don't want a constant yellow flag there for... because then when a car has another crash and is blocking the road, you know, want people to see that yellow flag and be like, oh right, something's actually happening here. If it's just that car stuck in the gravel, People will keep assuming it's a car in the gravel, not realize, oh, there's another incident. Leaders into the pits already. Maybe they were running lower fuel at the start and are now gonna put a full tank in. One thing is, they might come out in GT3 traffic, though I suppose they were just going into GT3 traffic. Intriguing. They were too deep into the chicane, really compromised their exit. That's led us to get the move for P5 done now, or P6 theoretically. I will say Ascari is just becoming a little bit more difficult. I feel like the tires have just lost a little bit of an edge through there. Okay, car behind isn't challenging us. I was a little bit worried they'd use the slipstream to come back at us and then lose us time by fighting. Thankfully that hasn't happened. Just went in a little too deep and rear end started over-rotating. I'm glad that BMW didn't do that any later because I was about to move to the right. Interestingly, the rear right tire is more loaded and more worn than the front right. Also, can I just say how we got less track limit points for cutting that chicane than we were getting at Cobb's Corner at Silverstone? Yeah, that's not very consistent. Getting a little bit of distant slipstream here. Excuse me, I'm here. They're gonna pit now. Interesting. Yeah, it wasn't quite there. Should have backed out of that one. And by back out, I mean like lift early before the braking point, braking zone. That's just one of those awkward points. Where it's like, the Ferrari's seen me coming on the right and so thought, oh, I'll leave the right hand side open for you. But I was always good. I was always trying to think, oh, they're going to go to the right because that's where the racing line is. Oh, losing so much time in the traffic. So are the cars in front, I hope. 5 seconds to car in front. Only 2 GT3s. Okay. 35 minutes remain. We can maybe bring that gap down. Could be very important to get the pit stop right. I don't think we're gonna get top 3. May look like at the moment, but remember a few people have pitted, including the previous race leader. Seven laps before we pit. It's gonna be 43 laps, I'm pretty sure. Another GT3 dead. That is a car missing a wheel, I assume, with the sparks. Trying to look at the math I did before the race. There's not too many GT3 cars directly in front of us, which is good. That's always a bit of a scary pass. Right, 3 laps till we pit. Yay, more time loss. That's 2 times now I've been slowed down by an LMP2 making a mistake through a scary while I was coming up to lap them. Can it be the last time? Two laps till we pit. Alright, pitting this lap. That BMW wasn't even pitting? Come on. have some awareness. I've underfueled by a liter because I think I'll save it in pit stop and traffic. Oh, we're still ahead of the car that was leading before they pitted really early. Look how deep the car behind went. Gotta remember, you've just put nearly 3/4 of a tank of fuel in. The tires are still quite worn. You know, the curve through the last stint felt like it was getting worse and worse. You know, if even like the fuel effect wasn't... Oh, I should start that sentence again. Sometimes when you're going through a stint, if the tire wear is low enough, the effect of the fuel burning off and the car getting lighter is more significant than the tire wear, than the pace lost from tire wear. And as such, you have the car getting faster and faster through a stint, despite the tire wear not looking too bad on the numbers that stint. The car was just starting to slide more and more with each lap. Oh god, here's a lot of GT3 traffic coming out of the pits. Thank you for picking a line and sticking to it. So we are in third place now. 13 seconds behind second. We have closed up through the pit sequence, despite them going a lap longer. But I mean, we would need to gain a second a lap. That's a big ask. The main thing is, if we weren't in that instant on, what, lap 2 or 3, we'd be fighting to win this race. Because we lost 15 seconds in that incident. You know, that put us up to second. And the damage that we have, the little bit, you know, tire getting worn, you know, that's maybe a lap of tire wear that was put on the tires from that spin, and that, you know, I have felt little vibrations. It's not bad. So there's a slight little flat spot on all the tires, or some of them at least, from that incident. You know, you take that away and, you know, who knows, we could have half a second a lap. Maybe half-second lap's probably a bit ambitious. It really depends how much straight line speed we're losing from the damage. But it could be a few tenths a lap, in which case, you know, we'd be up there. Of course, then traffic losses could be different. Gained 10th that lap. That's certainly not going to be enough. And there's a lot of GT3 cars between us and them. I maybe could have gone for a move there, but with the GT3's braking capabilities, I knew it was going to be like that time we passed the, or tried to pass the red BMW, that just wasn't going to work out. And it's moments like that where we're going to save a little bit of fuel that helped us just short fill that 1 litre. That, you know, that's, I'd say that's the difference between us getting third in the pit stop and having to fight for it on track. I mean, it was less than a car length. So everything down to the pit entry, how quickly you got stopped in the box, how quickly you drove away from the pit box. You know, those all made a big difference. The understeer in that corner was bad. Those all made a significant difference in that pit battle. We gained nearly 2 seconds there that lap. But I would say that was traffic, from traffic rather than, yeah, definitely from traffic. We're definitely going to lose out in Scary. Yeah, we lost a bit of time there, but not too much time. I think we handled that best we could. Maybe could have gone the throttle a little bit sooner out of a through a Scary and carried a little bit more speed out. But not much better. Now there are no cars between us and the 2 cars in front. 11 laps to go. You can see we are right on the money for fuel. Car behind's made a mistake and dropped a couple of places. 7.7 seconds behind. Yeah, I'm not worried about cars behind. Despite having clear track, don't think we're going to be setting any personal bests. I don't want to push for it, to be honest. You know, if I started pushing for a bit of time like I did in that final qualifying lap to take pole position, you know, with how the tires have worn, the extra fuel, the slight lockups and flat spots, I would just lock a brake into a corner and lose third. Gained a whopping 2 tenths on the car in front. 10 laps to go. Certainly going to be passing all the GT3 traffic once more this race. I can feel the rear wheels slipping as I try and put the power down out of the chicane. Just gotta be careful. It can't be aggressive on the throttle through that chicane. Gotta be careful with it. Otherwise the car will just spin around. If I wanted to be safe, I'd turn the traction control up a little bit. Gained 4.5 tenths that lap. Sort of roughly matching the leader's pace as well. And I left a 10th in this chicane last lap, just being a little too deep on the brakes. You know, you really want to get the first apex, stay tight on it, opens up the second part, allows you to carry more momentum out. That time I didn't carry enough momentum through the first apex. Oh, that was not a good time to have a bad exit out of Ascari. Yeah, that bad exit has cost me 1.5 seconds. Or a little over a second, really. Because if I got a good exit there, I would have passed the Mercedes on the inside into Parabolica rather than having to wait for the exit. Yeah, I had one little mistake, you know, cost us so much time. Yeah, I have to wait on this Porsche. Like, okay, yeah, we would have lost a little bit of time passing the car on the inside of Parabolica, but nowhere near as much as we did having to wait, and also with the mistake, of course. I could have lost a lot more time behind that GT3 fight if I caught them at a different point. So yeah, quite lucky in that regard. Oh, come on. I said I was getting a little sketchy with that rear end at a couple of corners. That was not one of them. I really had to kill the front left to avoid putting the car in the wall there. And I couldn't just reverse out into the racing line there. I would have definitely have killed a GT3. This is not going to be a fun braking zone. Okay, wasn't too bad. Yeah, I lost nearly 30 seconds from that. I'm not going to have any confidence in the car. Only 3 laps remain. I was just gonna say we need good luck with traffic. Can tell you that hasn't happened. Final lap, we are short on fuel by 0.3 liters. And there goes any chance of P5. Oh, come on. I just want to say, load please. Yeah, I didn't even get to full throttle. That's only about 60%. I mean, it's maybe a little bit early. Maybe that's what's done me there. I was just as aggressive. Yeah, I've done the same thing there with the throttle both laps, and the second lap it's just nope, not happening. That's so frustrating. Uh, what could have been if it wasn't for the instant a couple of laps in? Uh, Pace was good that race. I mean, it could have been a little bit better without the damage. We'll never know. Um, it was a good recovery up until that spin. Again, I just don't know. Dropping off the curb. I don't think I did drop off the curb. And I think it was maybe starting to go before that anyway. But yeah, that's just. This car it's so much fun to drive this car in the limit to really push it. But it seems to be just. At some point, it suddenly decides it can't do it anymore. And it just drops out from underneath you. Which, yeah, is just so annoying. We've had a few of those moments where it's just like you don't think, it's must be the smallest thing you've done differently and have done slightly wrong, and the car's just like, yeah, no, yeah, we're gonna kill you for that. uh, yeah, that's frustrating. I mean, still, pole position. That was nice. If I got P3, I would have been happy with that. Um, Winning the race, I think, was going to be difficult. Um, yeah, if we didn't have that first instant, yeah, maybe it could have happened, especially with whatever happened to Alfie. No idea. Um, don't know if it was just strategy or a driving mistake or an instant with GT3. Yeah, no idea. And then yeah, that's been just like And the annoying thing is, it's a horrible place to be parked because it's like I'm stuck between the racing line and the wall. um, and that's the one annoying bit with having the neutral lock. Is that if you have to go between reverse and first, it's just so awkward, and especially trying not to stall the engine while you're doing it. In fairness, I should probably be using my clutch pedal rather than relying on my wheel paddles. Um, while I'm trying to turn the wheel, shift through gears, especially putting it into neutral, probably would have made it a little bit better. A little bit easier, but when you're in that moment, you're just kind of panicking a bit, and yeah, and while you're panicking, you're also trying not to panic and just do something that's gonna take someone else out and get you into a lot more trouble. Um. So yeah, frustrating race was the as the portion where we were making the recovery was a bit enjoyable. Yeah, it's just a shame that we had to make it, and yeah, I just want a clean battle uh, this series. Um, yeah, it's been a bit too much faff. Two more rounds to go. Next week we are at Spa for a 90-minute race, which should be interesting. And then for the final round, we're heading to Imola, which will also be quite fun. So yeah, two good tracks tend off the series. A bit of a longer race next week with Spa. It's going to be a 90-minute race. So yeah, I'll change strategy a little bit. Yeah, it'll still be a one-stop race, but yeah, it'll be two full stints. There's maybe a bit more thought there to changing tires in that race. Yeah, next week with 90 minutes. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, hopefully a little bit cleaner. Later this week, I might be I'll be trying out AC Rally. The early access of that comes out on Thursday. I don't know if I'm going to do a stream on that or not. I'll see how I feel when it comes out on Thursday. But I don't have any plans on Thursday, so I might do. I might do. And then on not this Sunday coming up, but next Sunday, the 23rd, we're going to have another classic sports car race on a South course. It's been a while since we've done one. I think the last one was Le Mans we did, back in June-ish? Mid part of the year. So yeah, gonna be nice to get back into them. We're doing Classic Spa, 66 Spa, the long layout that went out sort of around a bit before they shortened it to the 7 kilometer circuit that we know today. Very high speed circuit. Yeah, first laps I've done on that layout when I was doing a bit of practice. We're in a Ford GT Mark One, or Ford GT 40 Mark One. So top class, which is changing. We're usually in one of the lower classes for those races. So yeah, a little bit different today in the top class. Or today, not today, next week in the top class. Yeah, something a little bit different. Should be fun. Looking forward to that. And yeah, hopefully that runs well. That will be Sunday evening, the 23rd. So yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, that is going to do it for today's stream. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Eddie. And Geeky for being around. Thank you to all those who were lurking as well and are watching the VOD back afterwards. Hopefully, I'll see you next week on Monday when we return for the penultimate round at Spa, if I don't do an IC Rally stream later this week. But yeah, until next time, take care, everyone. Have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.